Hematology is from the word hemato or blood and OG, which is study. So when you combine them together, that would be the study of blood. So ano bang meron sa blood? May mga blood cells katulad ng red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelet. So sa mga na-meet ko kanina sa Hema 2, alam niyo yung alam niyo na ang focus of discussion natin doon would be the platelet, right? If we're talking about the blood cell. Ngayon, sa Hema 1, pag-uusapan natin sila RBC at WBC. Okay, what do we want to talk about, no? These blood cells. So, we're going to talk about their quantitative and qualitative characteristic. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng qualitative? Qualitative would be their structure as well as their function. Okay? Una, anong itsura? Ano yung components ng cell? Saan sila gumagana? No? What are their functions? What are their role in our body? Then, pag sinabi natin quantitative, binibilang po natin yung count, yung gano'n sila kadami. Kasi, as a medical laboratory scientist, kailangan alam nyo yung normal na number. Alam nyo yung normal na structure. Alam nyo yung normal na function. Why? Because that will differentiate it to the abnormal ones or abnormal characteristic. So, ano naman, kung abnormal, edi indicative yon na may mali. Right? Indicative yon na there's something wrong, that there is presence of disorder. So, may sakit yung pasyente mo kapag nakakita ka ng abnormal na characteristic ng mga blood cells. So, para ma-differentiate mo ang abnormal, kailangan you know what is normal. Okay. Now, how do we identify or how do we describe yung qualitative? Qualitative characteristic ng cell. So, kadalasan po, nilalagyan natin ng stain yung mga blood cell. Tapos tinitignan po natin yan microscopically. Okay? Viewed microscopically. Okay. Ngayon, tandaan ninyo na ang mga blood cells, though may natural na color naman talaga siya, which is white and red, pag tinignan mo siya together with the blood, no? Together with the other components of the blood, they are colorless. Okay? So they will look colorless. Now to ano ba tawag dito? To observe them visually and to better see no their structure, we should employ staining techniques. So halimbawa, na gumagamit tayo ng right stain, gumagamit tayo ng Romanowski stain, mga polychromatic type of stain para iba ang kulay ng nucleus sa kulay ng cytoplasm. Mas madali nating ma-observe yung characteristic. And then, sabi ko nga kanina, binibilang din natin yung total count nila. Ilan ng RBC, WBC, ilan ng platelet. Okay, bakit? Tulad ng sabi ko kanina, babalik ako dito, kapag beyond sa normal or hindi siya pasok dun sa normal na expected natin, structure man yan, count man yan, ibig sabihin, indication na merong defect. Indication na merong disorder. Okay? So, as a medical laboratory scientist, you do the hematologic procedure for you to be able to predict, detect, and diagnose blood diseases. Ano ba yung mga blood diseases na yan? Halimbawa, leukemia, anemia, and hindi lang mga blood disorders ha, kasama pati ang mga systemic diseases katulad ng infection, inflammation. Infection, malalaman natin kung bacteria ba ang cause, virus ba ang cause, gal ba, anong klase ng inflammation, etc. So, malalaman natin yan when we do hematologic procedures or when we conduct hematologic procedures. Okay? Next, ano ba yung function ng blood. So, tulad ng sinabi ko kanina dun sa second bullet, makakapag-diagnose, right? Using hematologic procedures. Halimbawa, ito yung profile. Mataas ang WBC count. So, alam na natin na hindi normal yon kasi dapat nasa normal level lang siya, di ba? So, indicative, kapag alam mong mataas ang WBC, that's indicative of the presence of an infection. But then, marami pong klase ng infection. Pwedeng bacterial, fungal, viral. So, how do you know? Titignan mo ngayon yung type ng WBC na increased. So, let's say, ang nakita mo, neutrophil. So, abnormal, mataas ang neutrophil count. So, what you do is to correlate it. So, that infection, dahil ang neutrophil, pag increase yan, ang ibig sabihin yan, may bacterial infection. So, na-rule out mo yung infection na bacterial infection. Okay? Clear ba yon? Another, pwede kang rin mag-monitor ng effect ng therapy. O halimbawa, dahil nga alam mo na, alam mo na may infection or alam ng physician na may infection, bacterial infection, binigyan ng antibiotic. So, sabi ng doctor, inumin mo to for 7 days. Then, balik ka, after 7 days, gagawa ulit tayo ng, magpagawa ka ng WBC count at saka neutrophil count din. So, malalaman mo na effective yung treatment, paano? Siyempre, pag bumalik na sa normal. Right? Effective yung treatment kapag ka bumalik sa normal range. Understood? Another function of hematology. Okay. Confirm physician's clinical impression. So, paano nangyayari yun? Halimbawa, mga hematologic disorder. Okay. Nalaman natin na may anemia ang patient. Ang next question is, anong type ng anemia? Okay? What is the type of anemia? Bakit? May iba't ibang klase ang anemia. Bakit kailangan nating malaman yung type ng anemia? Bakit kailangan nating malaman yung stage ng anemia? Para makagawa tayo ng proper management and treatment. Alright? Magawa ng tamang management and treatment yung patient. So, once na halimbawa sa leukemia, no? If you remember, I told you, kailangan mong malaman ang type ng leukemia or anemia to prolong, 'di ba? Kasi especially leukemia, hindi na po 'to gumagaling. Right? Meron natandaan niyo, merong survival period. Ibig sabihin, may taning na lang yung patient. So, para ma-prolong natin 'yon, tama dapat ang management at treatment ng pasyente. So, how do you do that? You do hematologic procedures para ma-confirm natin anong type, anong stage. Okay? Another thing, di ba, we have different levels of degree of anemia. Mild, moderate, severe. So, if ang anemia ay mild, meron na ba kayang signs and symptoms yon? Probably wala pa. Okay? Probably wala pa yan. So, hindi pa namumutla ang pasyente, hindi pa siya nahihirapang huminga, and so on. So, walang nararamdaman ng patient. Pero pag tinest mo yan, malalaman natin na mababa na yung RBC parameters. Pero, pwedeng wala pang signs and symptoms na nararamdaman ng patient. So, para natin malalaman early, ang tawag dito ay early detection, no? Makakadetect tayo ng unsuspected disorder. Ibig sabihin, walang signs and symptoms pero meron ng nangyayaring changes inside the body. So, we can also do that in hematology. Okay? So, ito yung mga common na functions ng hematology. Kaya napaka-importante yan. Kasi hindi lang hematological disorder to. Related to sa maraming systemic disorder. Okay? So, now, let's talk about the blood. Okay. Ngayon, alam nyo yan, 5 to 6 liter approximately ng blood ang makikita natin or ang makikita mo sa isang adult individual. Alright, 5 to 6 liter in an adult individual, approximately, and that's equivalent to 7 to 8% of body weight. Now, it has two components, no? The fluid component and the formed elements. Yung fluid component is made up of 90% water and 10% of protein, carbohydrate, lipid, hormones, salt, vitamins, and enzymes. So, itong 55% na fluid component na yan, may water at may mga, anong tawag dito? Biomolecules. Okay? Biomolecules. Now, by the way, etong fluid component pala ng blood natin, pwede siyang tawaging plasma or pwede mo siyang tawaging serum. Kapag tinawag mo siyang plasma, eto na po yung collected blood natin, okay, which is anticoagulated. Yung nilalagay niya sa EDTA, nilalagay niya sa citrate. Naririnig niyo pa ba yung audio ko?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Sige. Alright. So, yun po yung makikita natin na component, no, yun po yung makikita natin na anticoagulated. So, yung may EDTA, yung may citrate. Pero, pag wala kang niligay na additive or wala kang okay, kung wala kang nilagay na anticoagulant, then ang tawag doon ay serum. Okay? So, technically, ang fluid component ng blood natin, siya yung taga-deliver ng iba't ibang component ng blood throughout the circulatory system. So, yung formed elements naman tayo na 45% ng blood natin, yung mga blood cell, RBC, WBC, platelet. So, you know for a fact that RBC, that's the one that carries the oxygen. And then yung mga WBC natin, sila neutrophil, sila eosinophil, it is involved in our cellular immunity. So, familiar na kayo sa IS doon, di ba? Phagocytosis, involved in production of antibodies, etc. And then we have the platelets. So, platelets or thrombocytes, they are important for coagulation para hindi po mangyari ang bleeding. Okay? So, for the function of the blood, punta na tayo sa function ng blood as a whole, okay? So, pagka nag-inhale tayo, nakukuha natin yung oxygen from the environment. Saan napupunta yung oxygen? Sa lungs. Sa lungs. From the lungs, dadaloy dun yung blood. Diba? Dadaloy yung yung blood natin to the lungs. Now, once our lungs is full, no, with air carrying oxygen, yung blood natin will be oxygenated. Ibig sabihin, parang pag dumaan yung blood sa lungs natin, yung RBCs na dadaan sa lungs natin, kukunin niya doon yung oxygen. And then, saan dadalhin? It will be delivered to different tissue. Sa liver, sa kidney, sa brain, etc. Malinaw. Then, pag na-drop off niya na si oxygen, ipipick up niya naman si carbon dioxide mula sa tissue. Saan niya dadalhin? Pabalik sa lungs. Bakit dadalhin niya sa lungs? Para pag nag-exhale tayo, ma-exhale natin ang carbon dioxide. Malinaw ba yon? So, cycle lang yon. When you inhale, you are oxygenating the blood with oxygen. Then, bahala si blood dalhin yan sa tissue. Pag drop off niya ng oxygen sa tissue, ipipick up niya naman ang carbon dioxide. Dadalhin niya ulit yon, ida-drop off niya yon sa lungs. At i-exhale naman natin yon or i-expire natin yon. Okay? Number 3. So, alam na natin to. Ayan, no? It carries different biomolecules, which are important for different purposes in our body. Next, deliver waste to liver and kidney. Halimbawa, sa kidney. So, alam niyo naman na dyan ang gagaling, di ba? Yung urine natin. So, technically, the urine is ultrafiltrate of plasma. When you say ultrafiltrate of plasma, ibig sabihin, si blood, dadaan yan sa kidney. Pag dumaan yan sa kidney, mafi-filter out yan, yung waste product, yun yung nagiging urine mo. Okay? May lamang may lamang waste product yung urine mo. And then, another function of the blood, it contains coagulation enzymes. Okay? Or yung tinatawag natin coagulation protein. Sino-sino to? Mga fibrinogen, mga thrombin, etc. So, makikita rin natin karamihan ng coagulation enzyme sa blood. And, eto, nabanggit ko kanina to sa hema 2, homeostasis. So sila platelet, no, ang nagme-maintain ng homeostasis sa katawan natin. Okay. Next. History. Iwanan ko na to sa inyong history, ha? Kasi self-explanatory naman yan. So, what you need to remember, 4 lang naman na tao yan. Pati yung date at yung contribution nila sa hematology. From Athanasius Kircher down to Mr. Wright. Okay, James Homer Wright. All right. So I will move on with the terminologies. Now, kung napansin niyo, wala akong binibigay sa inyo na terminologies for memorization. Ang binibigay ko are prefixes and suffixes. Ano ba 'yun? Prefixes, ito po ay mga syllables. No, part ng word na nilalagay natin at the beginning, pag prefix, tapos sa dulo naman, suffix. Sometimes you combine the prefix and suffix to create a word. Okay, to create a word. Halimbawa, anemia. Okay, o an means lack, without, absent, or decreased. Emia means blood. So, anong ibig sabihin ng anemia? Decreased blood cells, specifically the red blood cell. So, kung napansin niyo, pagka alam nyo yung meaning ng suffix at prefix, madedecipher ninyo yung meaning ng word. Okay? So, marami kayong mga words na ma-encounter in the near future, which is common in hematology, which you can decipher by knowing the meaning of the prefix and suffix. Another example, microcyte. Micro means small, cyte means cell. Okay? So, ito po. Micro is small, and then cyte is cell. So, ang tawag natin sa microcyte, or what's the meaning of microcyte? These are small cells. Another, hematopoiesis. Hemato or hemo is blood. Poiesis, on the other hand, means cell production. So, ibig sabihin, pag sinabi mong hematopoiesis, blood production or blood cell production. Okay? So, ganun po, no? Iwanan ko na rin sa inyo yung listahan ng prefixes and suffixes kasi ano lang naman yan. You need to familiarize yourselves with the meaning so that when we encounter words in the near future or terms in the near future, mabilis nyo pong maiintindihan yung meaning. Okay? By combining, no, the prefixes and suffixes. All right. Now, let us proceed to what we call as the complete blood count, or ito yung tinatawag nating CBC. Alright? Sino po sa inyo nakapag-CBC na? I mean, nakapagpa-CBC na. Kayo yung patient, tapos nakita nyo na yung result ng CBC ninyo. Sino po ang naka-encounter na? Anong ginagamit natin dito na anticoagulant? Anong kulay? Nung tube na ginamit for CBC. Naalala nyo pa ba? Anong anticoagulant yon? Yes, Ruela?
EDTA po, ma'am.
That's right, no? Or your EDTA. So, EDTA. Yun yung anticoagulant na ginagamit natin for complete blood counting. Okay. Ang CBC, pwede natin itong gawin automated, ibig sabihin machine. Pwede din manual. So, yung mga natutunan ninyo sa laboratory or matututunan nyo sa laboratory ay manual method. Okay, manual. Ngayon, Ano bang ginagawa natin sa CBC? So, we're going to enumerate. Ibig sabihin, magbibilang tayo ng total cell count. So, bilangin mo ilan ng RBC, bilangin mo ilan ng WBC, bilangin mo ilan ng platelet. Kaya nga siya tinawag na complete kasi kasama lahat ng tatlong blood cells na pinag-usapan natin kanina. Okay? Another. So, ibig sabihin may tatlo tayong parameter. RBC, WBC parameter, platelet parameter. So, other than the count, ano pang dinadetermine natin? Okay. So, halimbawa sa RBC, dinadetermine din natin yung concentration ng hemoglobin. And hemoglobin, that's the reddish protein inside the RBC. So, dinadetermine din natin kung ilan ang concentration yan. Kasi pag bumaba yan, may anemia ang patient. Okay? So, another would be the hematocrit. It's also known as PCV or what we call as packed cell volume. PACKED. Packed cell volume. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ito yung pinagpatong-patong na RBC. So, aalamin mo ilan ang height ng pinagpatong-patong natin na RBC. So, mamaya, I'll give you a very quick overview para ginagawa yon. Then, we have the RBC index. Index pag singular, indices pag plural. Okay? So, paano ba natin ginagawa ito? Kino-compute lang natin yan. Using the value gathered from RBC count, hematocrit, and hemoglobin. So, again, kino-compute lang natin to gamit ang RBC count, hemoglobin, or hematocrit. Okay? So, we have 4, MCV, MCH, MCHC, RDW, and ano ba yung reticulocyte? Reticulocyte is one of the immature forms of RBC. So, di ba, magde-develop yan. So, matututunan na sa hematopoiesis or sa RBC production na hindi po agad-agad erythrocyte or red blood cell siya. Nagdadaan po yan sa several stages. Halimbawa, from the stem cell. From the stem cell, made-develop ang myeloid stem cell. From the myeloid stem cell, made-develop yung mga committed. So, nandyan sila rubriblast, prorubricite, rubricite, metarubricite, reticulocyte, bago siya maging erythrocyte. Binibilang din natin ang reticulocyte because especially in anemia, napaka-useful ng bilang ng reticulocyte. Okay? So I will explain further next time how is it important. Okay? Let's proceed to WBC parameter. So, tulad na sabi ko kanina, enumeration ng total WBC. So, bibilangin nyo yun. Tapos, meron din tayong tinatawag na differential count. Ano naman yung differential count? Ibig sabihin, guys, magbibilang ka ng 100 na WBC. Okay? So, 100 na WBC, you will need to identify what is the percentage of the neutrophil. Among the 100, how many are lymphocytes? Get the percentage. Among the 100, how many are the monocytes? Get the percentage. Among the 100, how many are the eosinophils and basophils? Get the percentage. So, yun po yung tinatawag natin na differential count. Bakit importante yun? Kasi bawat white blood cell, no, merong indication. Katulad ng sabi natin kanina, pag bacteria, anong tumataas? Neutrophil. Kapag viral, lymphocyte. Pag parasitic, eosinophil. Naintindihan? So, depende po yan sa type ng leukocyte na tumaas or type ng leukocyte na abnormal ang count. Okay, next, platelet parameter. We also count the platelet and meron din siyang index. Ang tawag dyan ay mean platelet volume. Okay? Computed lang din yan. Okay? Computed lang din yan. Ay, bakit ayaw na naman mag-move? Saglit lang ha. First. Okay? So, for the red blood cells, we want to determine or we want to know its characteristics. So, number one, ano ba shape niyan? Actually, depende ha. Depende yung shape niya. Depende kung saan mo nilagay. But then, doon muna tayo sa pinaka-common na shape niya, which is biconcave. Okay? Bakit biconcave? Kasi dalawa yung concavity niya. Isa sa taas, isa sa baba. So, concave, concave. So, ulitin ko lang ha. Ito ay side view. Sa top view naman, makakita ka ng dalawang circle. Isa sa loob, isa sa labas. And by the way, ang total diameter po, ang average na diameter ng mga red blood cell is between 6 to 8 micrometer. Pag sinabi natin diameter, yung lapad. Ay, ano nangyari? Nag-give up na talaga yung iPad ko, guys. Ayaw na niya. Then tayong tinatawag na central pallor. What's the central pallor? That is the one that is found inside yung concave. Okay? And ano yung diameter niyan? 1/3 ng entire diameter ng RBC. Okay? 1/3 siya ng entire diameter ng RBC. So, bakit kulay-pula ang red blood cell at bakit natin siya tinawag na red blood cell? Because of the reddish protein we call hemoglobin. Okay po? Saan na po produce ang red blood cell? So, depende yan sa stage of development natin. Kung embryonic stage pa lang tayo, halimbawa, embryo pa lang tayo, ang blood cells natin are produced in the yolk sac. If we're already in the fetal stage, liver na ang site of production. Pero once na naging adult na tayo, from 1 year old, from birth up to adulthood, sa bone marrow na nangyayari ang production ng red blood cell. Okay? Another, enucleated po ito ha, walang nucleus ang mga red blood cells. Clear? Okay. So, remember kanina, nagme-measure tayo ng count, diba? So, pag anemia, decrease ang red blood cell count. As well, pati ang hemoglobin. Damay ang hemoglobin. Bakit? Kasi ang hemoglobin, makikita mo sa loob ng RBC. Right? So, pag nabawasan ng RBC, bawas pati ang hemoglobin concentration. Diba? Kabaliktaran ng polycythemia, guys. Mataas ang RBC count. And this is also abnormal because this will result naman to hyperviscosity. What does that mean? Yung blood natin is thickened, malapot, no? It's viscous. So, it poses a lot of health risk kapag ka hyperviscous yung ating blood. Okay? Then, paano po ba natin, ano po ba yung unit pag nagka-count tayo ng RBC? So, cells, yung bilang, halimbawa, 100,000 cells per. Ito yung unit natin. Pwedeng microliter, either MCL or UL, parehas lang yan. Cubic millimeter, cc, pwede din, or liter. Then, since before 1953, puro manual lang lahat ng ginagawa nating counting. Pero noong 1953, Joseph Coulter and Wallace Coulter, no, they developed principle, or they developed a principle for electronic, no, or automated counting of RBC. And that is what we call as the Coulter principle. Okay? Direct current electrical impedance. This is the principle. Or also known as Coulter principle. Okay? So, Coulter principle or direct current electrical impedance. So, anyway, we'll be discussing further, no? In the next few meetings kung ano yung Coulter principle na yan. Okay? So, for now, tandaan ninyo na merong automated na way or method para mabilang natin ang mga blood cells. Hindi na lang puro manual counting. Now, ito yung physical na appearance
ng mga cells. So, this one, yung letter A natin yan, yung makikita nyo parang mga pink na yan, ang ating red blood cell. Okay? A, RBC. Okay. This one, itong letter B natin, neutrophil siya. But there are two types of neutrophil. Yung tinatawag natin segmented, and on the other hand, this is the band neutrophil. Okay? Nakita niyo tong orange. This is orange, refractile. Nakita niyo yung malalaking granule niya. Yan ang indication na eosinophil yan. Lymphocyte, ito pong manipis yung cytoplasm. Nakita niyo yung mga purple? Ito, itong purple na to. Ito yung nucleus. Okay, yung mga purple na yan, okay, this one also, band, ito yung nucleus. Ito rin, ito yung nucleus. Yung purple. Sa eosinophil, ito yung nucleus. Okay, this one, hindi niya na halos makita yung nucleus, di ba? Kasi natatabunan ng granule ng basophil. Okay? And then lastly, yung pinakamalaki sa kanila, monocyte. Okay. Next, ito naman yung pinakamaliit, platelet. Yung makikita nyo parang tuldok-tuldok na yan, yan ang tinatawag natin na platelet. Alright. So, siguro, next week na lang natin i-continue. Paalala nyo sa akin, ha? Hemoglobin na tayo. Okay? Ma'am, may quiz pa po ba next week? Wala muna tayo since hindi naman natin natapos, no? Wala muna tayong quiz sa susunod na Saturday. Pero pala, no? Pwede pala kasi mag-meet naman tayo on Monday ulit next week. Tapos Saturday pa pala ang susunod ninyo na meeting. Tama. Okay. So, kung ano po yung pag natapos natin to next week, Saturday, next week, that would be February 8. May quiz po kayo nun, ha? Okay? Anyway, ipopost ko naman or i-announce ko naman sa Brightspace kung ano yung mga kailangan ninyong tandaan and schedule for the quizzes.